So we are proving prove the following. So they're giving you what? They're giving you sin x, all over 1 plus cos x, 1 plus cos x plus 1 plus cos x all over sin x it's equals to what? 2 over sin x. So we're going to prove this identity. So normally when we prove, I normally told you that we normally prove the most difficult side. So with regards to this, you can actually see that the most difficult side is the left-hand side. So since you are now able to locate that the left-hand side is the one that is difficult, you're going to write it as it is. That's your first step. So you'll just write sin x all over 1 plus cos x plus 1 plus cos x all over the sine of x. So that is the first thing that you must know. And then after that, I've showed you how basically do we work with fractions, right? So you'll say left hand side it's equals to, then now you cross multiply. You'll say sin x times sin x.
Sin squared x.
Sin squared x. Yes, and then you're also having positive sign. So you're gonna write positive sign, and then you multiply these two. So what you can do here, you can just write 1 plus cos x multiply by 1 plus cos x, just like this, right? And then divide by the denominator, it will be sin x into 1 plus cos x. So your next step that you are going to do basically is to do what? Is to make sure that you deal with the numerator side by just simplifying. So say we can only cross multiply when there is a plus in the middle. Yes, when there is a plus or a negative, you cross multiply. Then when there is a multiplication sign, you multiply the numerator and the numerator, the denominator and the denominator. So here we're gonna have sin squared x plus, and then you're gonna say 1 times 1 is.
Sir,
Yes.
can you please rephrase that? You said that when there's a multiplication in the middle, what do we do?
When there's a plus sign or a minus sign, you cross multiply. And then when there's a multiplication sign, you multiply the numerator and the numerator and the numerator, the denominator and the denominator. Do you understand?
Okay, sir, thank you.
Okay. So we wrote sin squared x, and then you're gonna say plus, and then you're gonna say 1 times 1, that is 1. So here, guys, to those who are joining, you'll just use FOIL method, 1 times 1. Then you will say also 1 times cos x, just like
cos x.
Yes. So 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times plus cos x is plus cos x.
Cos x.
You say plus cos x times 1 is plus cos x. And then you say positive times positive, it's positive. Cos x times cos x is cos squared x. Divided by sin x into 1 plus the cos of x. And then from here, let's further simplify this. Remember, you're going to pay these two. So remember, I'm going to pay this sin squared x, which is this one. I'm going to pay it with that one because I know that it will give me an identity. So you'll say plus cos squared x. Can we all mute ourselves? There is someone who's having a background noise. I don't know who's that. Okay, yeah, thanks. Sin squared x plus cos squared x. So as I was saying here, you pair this one and that one, just like that. And then you're gonna say cos x plus cos x, it's plus. Okay, let's write, yeah, plus 2 cos x, we're also having plus 1. All over sin x into 1 plus cos of x. So one thing that you must remember, the yellow part, sin squared x plus cos squared x, it's an identity that gives you 1. So you'll say left hand side is equals to 1 plus 2 cos x plus 1 all over sin of x into 1 plus cos of x. And then from here you add 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So you'll say 2 plus 2 cos of x all over the denominator, just leave it as it is. So it's sin x into 1 plus
cos x.
Yes. And then on the numerator side, what basically you're gonna do, you can see that we are closer to the answer. On the numerator side, you take out 2 as a common factor. So you'll be taking 2 into, you'll be left with 1 plus cos x. You know why? So that when you use FOIL method, when you say 2 times 1, it gives you that 2. When you say 2 times positive cos x, it's positive 2 cos x, just like that. Any question?
No question, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
You divide by the denominator. So don't do anything to the denominator. Just write it as it is. Sin x into 1 plus cos x. So when it's like this, it's very much easy. You'll just say left hand side, it's equals to, left hand side to say it's equals to 1 plus cos x cancels 1 plus cos x. What are you left with?
2 over cos sin x. 2 over
Sin x. Yes.
Therefore, left hand side is equals to right hand side.
Yes. Therefore, left hand side is equals to the right hand side. So that's how we prove. Such types of proofs, they take a plus minus 5 to 6 months. Any question?
No question, sir.
Okay, cool. Then now we are getting into the deeper part. I believe you have understood some of the basics. And then let me just, before I go, we're going to use the textbook that I've just sent on the group. So let me just check that textbook. Yes.
Bengisacela ungiripithele laphayana ngaphansi kwa-sin x squared plus 1 plus cos x ngaphansi kwayo cela ungiripithele yona leyo line.
Which line?
Line number 4.
Step number 4 from the question. Please communicate with me.
Sin x squared. Sin squared x plus 1 plus cos x plus cos x plus cos squared x. Cela explain imiphumela.
Yeah, it's very important. Okay, I'm just going to explain. It's very important that we also focus, but I'm just going to explain so as to save time. So here you just multiply 1 times 1. It's 1, you write 1. 1 times positive cos x is positive cos x, you just write it. Positive cos x times 1 is positive cos x, you write it. Positive cos x times positive cos x is positive cos squared x, you write it. Did I answer you?
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Oh, I'm just looking at that. Oh, yeah, there you go. I was just looking for this. So I'm just gonna touch some of the examples of the textbook that I've just sent me. Yeah, we're on trigonometry. I'm almost there. Oh yeah, there you go. So there are some people who just recently joined us. Can someone, as I'm still teaching, someone resend that textbook on the group so that the people who recently joined can be able to have the textbook, because I'm just kind of explaining. So on that textbook that I've just sent for Kevin Smith, some of you might have it. We're on page 92. Yeah? On page, I'm just gonna do page 92 examples. So here we are having cos of 360. I'm just gonna write it down. Cos of 360 minus x multiplied by sine of 360 minus x multiplied by cos of 90 minus x. That one is a co-function. Yesterday I've just explained it on our lesson. Divide by sine squared 90 minus x multiplied by what? Sine 180 plus x. Page what? Page 92. So with regards to this, for you to be able to solve this, you must have what you call a Cartesian plane or a cast diagram. So you must know cast diagram by heart. So remember, it's 0, 360 here, then that is 90, 180, 270. All students take coffee. So this one is cos of 360 minus x. So when we are saying 360 minus x, you're going to go to the cast diagram. You check what is 360 minus x. 360 minus x is clockwise. You are on the fourth quadrant. On the fourth quadrant, cos is positive. So it means to say we're going to have cos x here. You're done with that one?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. And then from there, I just muted someone because of this background noise. But if you were communicating with me, there's no background noise. You can feel free to unmute yourself. It's just that some people, they have a background and you get disturbed. Let's continue. Sine 360 minus x. So that is 360 minus, we are on the fourth quadrant. On the fourth quadrant, sine is negative. So here you'll write negative sine of x multiply by. So you see this one, cos 90 minus x, it's a co-function. This one I've explained it, it's a co-function. But for you not to get confused, sorry, also myself, I have background noise. Sorry for that. So this is cos 90 minus x. So you check on which quadrant do you have 90 minus x. So that is 90 minus, it means to say we are on the first quadrant. And then I've explained that on the first quadrant, all the co-ratios are positive. So we understand that all the co-ratios are going to be positive. But taking into consideration that we are using 90, remember cos it is going to change into what? Into sin x. Just like that. And then you say divide by. So this one is a bit tricky. Sine of 90 minus x. Again, 90 minus x is false on the first quadrant. And then on the first quadrant, all the co-ratios are positive. But since we're using 90, it means to say it will change into what? Cos squared. Not sine.
Okay.
Cos squared x. You must be very careful with regards to that. Ne? And then multiply by, this is sine 180 plus x. So 180 plus x, we're anti-clockwise. 180 plus x, we are on the third quadrant. On the third quadrant, sine is negative. So you'll say negative sine of x. And then before you can even go further, these two, they should cancel out because of both of them, they are pretty negative.
Negatives.
Yes. So let me just write it step by step for the sake of someone. So here we are having cos x multiplied by sine of x divided by, you see this one, cos squared x, it simply means to say someone can write it like this. cos x multiplied by cos x.
Cos x.
Yes. And then when it's like this, it's much more easier. You know that this one cancels this one. What are you left with?
Sin x over cos x.
Yes. Then you write sin x over cos x. Sin x all over cos of
Cos
x
x.
is equals to. Remember, I told you that we are having a formula that is, that's it, tan x is equals to what? Sin x all over cos of x.
Cos x.
So where you are having sin x over cos x, you'll write tan x. So here the final answer is tan x. Maths is not difficult. Just need you to know the basics. Then everything will be just easy as like that. Any question?
No question up to so far.
Yeah. So we go to another one. Going to the other one. Number 3. So here we are having what? 1 over 1 minus sin theta. Then plus 1 over 1 plus sin theta. It's equals to 2 over cos squared. 2 over cos squared theta. So for you to be able to prove this one again, it needs you to just locate the most difficult side, which is the left-hand side. So we say left-hand side, it's equals to. So remember, I showed you that when you are proving, you always prove the most difficult side. Then there are some instances whereby you'll prove only the left-hand side. There are some instances whereby you'll prove only the right-hand side. And then there are also some instances whereby you will prove both sides. But in this case, we are proving the left-hand side. So it means to say you'll write the left-hand side as it is 1 over 1 minus sin theta, just like that. Plus, then you say 1 over 1 plus sin theta. And then remember, I told you that when you have a positive sign or a negative sign, what do? You cross multiply. Yes, just gonna cross multiply. So this basically means to say, you say 1 times 1 plus sin theta, it's 1 plus sin theta. And then don't be confused. This plus sign here is the one that I'm gonna write now. Plus. Then you cross multiply. 1 times 1 minus sin theta is 1 minus sin theta. So you can write it in brackets if you want. 1 minus sin theta. All of our denominator, which is 1 minus sin theta, into 1 plus sin theta. Because it's a matter of you multiplying these denominators for you to get the LCD, which we call it the lowest common denominator. Then from there, you're having the left-hand side, it's equals to. Then now you destroy the bracket on the numerator side. What you're going to do, you just write 1 plus sin theta, since it's the one that you are having it. Then you'll say positive times 1 is positive 1. Positive times negative sin theta is negative sin theta. All over. So this one, what basically you will do, I think it's kind of like, yeah, it's difference of 2 squares, if you know difference of 2 squares. Who knows difference of 2 squares? So it means to say, if you use FOIL method multiplying the 2, you get 1 minus sin squared theta. You get 1 minus sin squared theta. Let me show you how. I'm just gonna do this aside on a script, and then we're gonna come back. So I'm saying 1 minus sin theta into 1 plus sin theta. When you finish simplifying it, you must get 1 minus sin squared theta. 1 minus sin squared theta. Let me show you how. So you'll say 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times plus sin theta is plus sin of theta. Minus sin theta. Minus sin theta times 1 is minus sin theta. Then negative times positive is negative. Sin theta times sin theta is sin square of theta. When you arrive here, you're having 1. These two, they cancel out. You're left with 1 minus sin squared.
It's good.
Just like that. That's why I said, who knows difference of two squares? So if you know difference of two squares, there's no need of you doing all the simplifying part that I just recently did there downwards. So you just need you to know the difference of two squares. So when you arrive here, look at the numerator part, they cancel. Positive sin theta minus sin theta, they cancel. Then you're left with 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1 all over 1 minus sin squared theta. So now I'm just going to erase here since now you understand. And then what basically you're going to do, you say left hand side, it's equals to you add 1 plus 1 is 2. It will be 2 all over. We all know that 1 minus sin squared theta is what is cos squared theta.
Cos squared theta.
To those who don't know, again, I taught you this. That identity, do you see that it's repetitive? So math is not difficult. I showed you yesterday that if you're having sin squared x plus cos squared x is equals to 1. I said, what is the name of this identity, if you still remember?
Identities.
What is its name? We call it the square identity. I thought about this yesterday. So the square identity says sin squared x plus cos squared x is equals to 1. And then you can make any of those the subject of the formula. So if you are making sin squared x, the subject of the formula will be 1 minus what? Cos squared x.
Minus cos squared x.
Yes. Then I said if you're going to make cos squared x the subject of the formula, it's going to be what?
It's going to be 1 minus sin squared x.
1 minus sin squared x. And then with regards to this, you just check here. Look at this. They give you 1 minus sin squared x. So you check 1 minus sin squared. What is going to be that identity? Actually, 1 minus sin squared. What will be that identity? Cos squared. So
X.
yes. So if the variable you are given x, you will write cos squared x. If the variable you are given theta, you will say cos squared theta. If the variable you are given beta, you will say cos squared beta. If the variable you are given alpha, you will say cos squared alpha.
It's going
Just
to
like that. Do you see? And then from here, you compare 2 over cos squared. Let's double check. It's the same as this one, actually. The one that they actually give us. So from here, that's when you will now conclude and say, therefore what?
Therefore, left hand side is equals to right hand side.
Just like that. So if you want to get a math distinction, remember I told you that paper 2 is equals to 150 marks. What we are doing is trigonometry. Then out of 150, trigonometry is 60 marks. So it's up to you. Trigonometry is 60. Euclidean geometry is 50. Yes, 60 marks. Trigonometry is the one that carries a lot of marks on paper 2. It's 60 marks. Euclidean geometry is the second. Euclidean geometry, it carries 50 marks. So when you add 60 plus 50, that's 110. Wabana is very easy to get a distinction. So let's say you total trigonometry, you get 60. You total geometry, you get 50. When you add 60 plus 50 is 110. It means to say you will get 110 over 150. But not to say you will get 110. There are also some topics that you need to get. The likes of analytical geometry is 25 marks. So out of 25, let's say you got 24 again. So it will be 40 minus 25. I think you're left with 15. And then the remaining 15 is statistics. Statistics is the easiest of them all. That's why you get it on question number 1. So that's what I'm saying. It's possible to get 150 over 150. So when you practice maths, never spend time on topics which carry less marks. Myself, you won't find me teaching you solve for X the rest of the year. No. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna teach you topics which carry a lot of marks. Euclidean geometry, that's how I teach. I'm different from other people who are teaching maths in a sense whereby myself, I won't teach you solve for x for the rest of the year. You know why? Because you'll get it on question 1. Even if you can get 100% of question 1, it won't make you to pass maths. All right. So what I do, I spend time on topics which carry a lot of marks: trigonometry, Euclidean geometry, analytical geometry. And then if you are left with a week to write maths, that's when we do the solve for x. Then you pass. But you'll find another person. So we're writing investigation on Monday. Please give me tips on compound and double angles. The tips that I can give you if you're writing on Monday, make sure that before you're going to write that investigation, you know how to use compound angles, you know how to use double angle formula, you know how to use special angles formula, you know how to double angles, you know how to have angles, just like that. So as I was saying, when you're left with just a week to write maths, that's when you will, okay, thank you, sir, sure. So if you are left with a week, that's when I will now teach you solve for x. But you'll find another person, don't practicing trigonometry, don't practicing Euclidean geometry, and then when they are left with just 2 days to write, they want to master trigonometry. It's highly impossible. There's no way you can do that. So I was just giving you some tips on how to solve that. So now I'm just gonna solve this. We are on number, I lost count. I think it's number 4 or 5. I'm not sure. So now we are going to go on page 93. You see this question that I'm gonna do now. Page 93. Let's all go to page 93. I'm not gonna write the whole question. It's there on page 93. I'm just gonna write the important part. So they're saying, given that on page 93, that they're giving you to say sine theta. You see this question that you are doing, it's a typical exam question. There's no question paper that you'll write in the rest of your life if you're gonna write maths paper 2 continuously without getting this question. You'll get it whether you like it or not. So they're saying sine theta it's equals to minus 9 over 41. And then they're giving you a restriction. The restriction they're telling us to say cos of theta is less than 0. Cos of theta is less than 0. Ne? And then they're saying without the use of a calculator, you see, with the aid of a diagram, determine the value of cos theta over sine theta. The first thing that you need to do before you rush into solving this question, you concentrate here. So remember, we are having what we call SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. So yes, they give us sine. What is sine? Opposite of hypotenuse. So you say opposite over hypotenuse. So opposite we normally show it with the y, hypotenuse with r. And one thing that you need to understand before you can rush into solving the questions, you must have x, y, and r. In this case, I'm having y. I'm also having r. I'm running short of x. How can I find x?
Theorem of Pythagoras.
Theorem of Pythagoras. R squared is equal to x squared plus y squared. The hypotenuse side squared is equal to the hypotenuse side squared is equal to the sum of the squares on the other two sides. And then now you substitute. The value of r is 41. So 41 squared, it's equals to, then we don't have x, so that will be x squared plus the value of y is negative 9. Then you write minus 9 just like that. Then you square it. Then you just say 41 squared. What is 41 squared? What is 41 squared?
1681.
Yeah?
1681. 681.
681 is equals to, I'm gonna say x squared plus 9 squared, I think we're gonna get 81, if I'm not mistaken.
81.
Then you say 1681. You take that positive 81, you transpose it that side, it changes the sign to become negative.
Negative
Then you say
81.
minus 81. It equals to x squared.
160.
And then this is what? 1600.
Negative 81.
No. It was positive. It was positive. It can't be negative. When the reason why you got negative is because we didn't put brackets. Put brackets. So that will be x squared. And then you write it properly. X squared is equal to 1600. Then you say x squared is equal to 1600 introduce square root both sides. Plus minus the square root of this cancels that. There is a reason. Say, please explain what do you put y and r. It's general, guys. I taught you the basics. If you don't understand, please go back to those basics that I taught you. I even explained here. I said, guys, I said, always the opposite side to show it with small letter y. The hypotenuse side to show it with small letter r. The adjacent side, it will be x. I even explained this every now and then. So if you don't understand, you'll go back to your basics. So you'll say x is equals to plus minus the square root of 1,600 is what?
40.
40. So here, some of you, they will catch you here. You know, when you are squaring both sides, you must introduce this plus minus. It's very important. Some of you, you'll get confused here. You must write that. And then after that, I didn't say my x is positive. I didn't say my x is negative. You go back to following the restriction. Some of you, there are people who will get this wrong. You know why? They will have omitted this restriction. If you're not going to adhere to this restriction, then it means to say all your calculations will be wrong. So let me show you something. So when they're saying cos theta is less than 0. It's less than 0. Let's find cos. It means to say cos theta is equals to what is cos? Soccer from soccer to. That's adjacent of hypotenuse. Adjacent, we show it with x over hypotenuse r. So when they're saying it's less than 0, who can tell me what do I mean or what do they want when they're saying something is less than 0? Should we get a positive?
They mean that cos is negative.
Yes, it must. It means to say cos is negative. So it means to say when cos is negative, what is the value of x that you're gonna take? Are you gonna take a positive one or negative one?
Negative 1.
100% correct. So it means to say now, since you are with me, you'll conclude and say therefore x is equals to negative 40.
Negative 40.
Most of you here, if you're not gonna write plus minus, you'll be wrong because people, they have a tendency to say, we always expect a positive answer. If you're gonna write the positive answer here, you'll be 100% wrong because you will not have adhered to the question. So as we know, our cos theta should be less than 0. So here it's negative 40 over r is the hypotenuse side, the longest side on the triangle. The hypotenuse side, it can never be negative. The hypotenuse side is always positive, and the hypotenuse side is equal to the sum of the squares on the other two sides. So our r is represented by 41, just like that. Now, they said with the aid of a diagram, equals and soccer adjacent over hypotenuse. So we're going to draw a diagram. So when you draw a diagram, this is what's going to happen. That is 0, 360, we all know. 90, 180, 270. So it means to say, your y, remember it was, our y, was it negative 9? Yes. Our y, it was negative 9. So negative 9 is somewhere there. X is negative 40 somewhere there. So when you draw that Cartesian plane, it must be like this. So here you'll say x is equals to negative 40. R is your hypotenuse side, which is always positive. R is equals to 41. Y is equals to, was it negative 9? Then here you write it. And then from there, what we're going to do, they want what? They want us to solve what? Cos theta.
Times.
It's not times, it's divided by sin theta. So how do you choose the quadrant? I've just explained it just now, guys. I don't know what to do now. The quadrant, I've just explained it now. I said here, for us to get I'm one person who's very patient, but I get frustrated when I'm teaching something that I will have explained, and then someone asks me a question of what I've just explained now. In that instance, I get frustrated at times, but I'm just gonna be humble enough to re-explain, but I've just emphasized this and give it to you explain. So I said, guys, you follow the restriction. Following the restriction, that's telling us to say cos is less than 0. And I explained that why should we get the negative answer is because of that telling us to say it must be what? Less than 0. Anything less than 0 is negative. And then I even said, now you should not write the positive answer, you should write a negative answer. After writing a negative answer, you go to the Cartesian plane. Since this is negative 40, guys, you go there. Where there is negative 40, you're going to write negative 40. Since we're going to use our x value that is negative. And then our y value from what we were given is negative 9. You're going to write negative 9 there. That's why our Cartesian plane is on the third quadrant. I've explained that several times. Okay, let's continue. Now they want cos. Cos theta, we know that is going to be what? It's going to be minus 40 over 41.
Over 41.
So you'll write minus 40 over 41. And then you say divide by what is